Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to Celestial Oracle Codes. Make sure our mic is working. So, I've been away for a couple of days under heavy activations and just working on upgrades and things like that. So, you might be going through activations, upgrades, or ascension pains right now. You're being called to just kind of hunker down and bear with it, and then make sure you're drinking a lot of water, guys. So that's what is coming through. Make sure you're drinking a lot of water. You're preparing to shift the conscious thought of your atmosphere to positively affect change for yourself, your environment, and those who surround you. So that's what's going on right now. So, yeah, not to bombard you with all that information, welcome to Celestial Oracle Codes. If this is your first time, do consider subscribing. We'd love to have you around. Other than that, hello, my beautiful soul. Welcome back if you're returning or already a subscriber. I trust that this message found you at the perfect time. So, this reading is for the person who has been feeling like they are living through the same lesson over and over again, right? Just with different faces, different places, and different situations, honestly. You may have been asking yourself, why does this keep happening? Okay. Why do I keep attracting the same kind of energy? Why do I always end up being the one who has to heal, forgive, understand, and move on? And the message coming through today is very clear. This pattern actually ends here. Look at that. Completion. It's ending. This is the end, the completion. This is you integrating all of the lessons that have gone before you. This is you finally getting to process and move into a new phase, a new type of world, a new existence, a new chapter for some of you. But for most, this is a new phase in life. This is closing down some old cycle, and this is starting afresh, or you becoming a higher version of you. So that's the level up, the activation, and the ascension pains or progress you might be making. Okay, so ultimately, what it signifies, period. Hands down, this pattern ends here. Not because someone else finally changes, not because the past magically disappears, not because everyone suddenly becomes accountable, right? No, no, no. But because you're no longer available for the version of yourself that kept participating in what was hurting you. Now you are standing in your true power, the power to take all of the elements of your life and all the skills and capabilities that you have and make something beautiful, right? While building into harmonious choices and relationships that are going to truly change your life. Wow. I'm just hearing change your life. Wow. This is coming and it's going to change your life. Beautiful. So that's the breakthrough. You're no longer participating in the things that are hurting you. You are only accepting the fact that you are that powerful magician energy, right? So you could be a Reiki master, a psychotherapist, a coach, any kind of spiritual business, spiritual healer. You could be a content creator. You could be a tarot reader. You could be an oracle. You could be any of the things, right? But you're focusing on making harmonious choices now and only allowing harmonious relationships into your life moving forward. After you've closed down this really, really powerful cycle and phase in your life. Like, you didn't feel like it was that powerful, but it truly did transform you into who you are today. Okay? So it was a long time coming, but at the end of the day, it was well worth the wait. I'll say it that way. So this message may be for you if recently you felt emotionally tied to some of the wrong things, if you felt emotionally tied to lower thoughts, okay, what you're elevating now. This message may be for you if you recently have felt emotionally tired, have felt you needed to be taking a leap and haven't done that, have felt like you're coming to the end of your rope with any betrayal, deceit, or any of that kind of swords energy in your life. not having a clear vision or feeling like you can't see over the horizon clearly, wanting to accept a blessing or some new emotional fulfillment into your life, feeling like you're tired of running away and moving and changing and adapting to circumstances that are chaotic and out of your control, feeling like you're not getting your due fully, always finding that there is conflict wrapped around you or gossip or lies that are being spread about you, not getting the not acknowledgement and the actual respect and adoration that you so deeply deserve. Okay. Feeling like resources are fleeting you or like you never truly get your due, and not having a clear vision or believing in your intuition and feeling like you don't know what your purpose is. All right, so any of those, and that was a good amount of them, right? Any of those can be confirmation that this message is for you. Also, if you felt emotionally tired, spiritually stretched, or quietly done with anything in your life, then this message is for you too. Not dramatic done, not angry done, not trying to prove a point done, just deeply, internally, soulfully done. You may have noticed that the same type of energy keeps showing up in your life. You may have noticed maybe it comes through people who only value you when they need something. Maybe it comes through connections that feel intense, right? But turn your world upside down. They feel intense in the beginning, but become inconsistent over time, period. Maybe it comes through work situations where you give more than you receive, and maybe it comes through family dynamics where you are expected to be the bigger person while your pain is minimized. And somewhere inside of you, something has started saying, no, I cannot keep doing this, right? So something in you has created this brand new vibration. And let me tell you what these three cards together mean. Starting your reading. This is beautiful, beautiful. And let me tell you why. Because this card signifies that you finally got fed up with whatever you were putting up with all your life. And you finally started doing right by you and stopped doing things in spite of you is more important what that means. And when you did that, you awakened something deep within. You activated your power. You activated your connection to the divine with this infinity symbol right here above the head. You activated your power over as above, so below. And your power over manifestation, your power over creation is what this is. And ultimately, see how he has all of the symbols of the tarot out here? Sword, cup, pentacle, wand on the table. Well, those are all of the elements of life that you now have the power to work with since you've learned and grown through this phase that you just recently closed. And it's leading you into, right, this new vibration, this new reality creation, this new skill building, this new capability within you is leading to a new community and relationship. So we could see the community if it was the Three of Cups, but there's something that goes beyond the Three of Cups. So I'm going to tell you something about this Two of Cups coming up next to the Magician right now. This Two of Cups signifies a relationship, a platonic relationship. This can be a romantic relationship. This can be a business partnership. And this can be a creative or inspirational relationship. It can be any of those because you've connected to your power, right? You've reconnected to your power. In fact, you've called your power back. And now you're embodying your power in this Magician, and it's calling in these harmonious relationships. And I'm going to tell you, you didn't see the Three of Cups here now because the Three of Cups often precedes the Two of Cups to get that Two of Cups energy flowing for you. So what that means is this relationship is going to come through, and I'm telling you right now, it's going to come through an event, an invitation, some seminar, some conference, something where you have to go out and mingle or network and meet others to help create the life you love. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so somewhere inside of you, something has started saying, no, I can't keep doing this, right? That inner no is sacred. So you're being called to listen to that. That inner no is not bitterness. That inner no is not pride. That inner no is not you being difficult. That inner no is your spirit recognizing that the cycle has taught you enough. It's enough, right? It's enough. It's enough. That means we can close it down. We can integrate those lessons. We have now embodied our power, and we're calling in the relationships that are truly, mutually, soul aligned, mutually beneficial relationships, is what I'm hearing. Okay. So, the energy of this reading feels like karmic closure, but not in the scary way. It feels like the moment where the lesson finally clicks and you start pulling in the resources, the power, and the relationships. Truly the abundance. This is an abundance energy. And let me tell you why. Because he has all of the elements of the Torah here. He has the connection to the divine above his head. He has the relationship that he came at bouncing into. And now you're creating this whole new world after you've closed that down, right? After you close down that cycle. So ultimately, this is super abundant energy, and I'm going to tell you why. Because this is you creating and attracting new relationships, new financial security and material gain, new business ventures, if that's what you feel called to, new abundance in divine financial abundance is what I'm hearing. And you're calling it in, so that is an abundance of health, wealth, relationships, spirituality, and anything else that you glean as necessary or miraculous to change and fulfill your life. Beautiful. What a beautiful message coming through for you guys today. I love it. It feels like the moment where the lesson finally clicked for you. So, even though this has been a long time coming, right? For a long time, this pattern may have survived because part of you was still hoping the outcome would change if you loved harder, explained better, waited longer, gave more chances, or proved your worth more clearly, right? It was never you. There's nothing wrong with you. Like the thing that was wrong was you were trying to align with that which was either a lower caliber than you, right? Coming at a problem from the level of the problem is not how we solve problems. We have to rise above the problem, then come down on it, and then it solves. It almost solves itself once we rise to the next level, right? So that's what we're being called to do in all situations now. But the deeper truth is this. You were never supposed to prove your worth to someone who benefited from you forgetting it. How about that? That is the pattern ending. For some of you, the pattern is overgiving. You pour into people, projects, connections, and dreams, then wonder why you feel empty. But Spirit is showing you that your love is powerful, your effort is powerful, your compassion is powerful. And because it is powerful, it must be protected. Your energy is so precious here. You're so significant. And if you feel like you're insignificant, that makes you just that much more significant. I'll say it that way. Because they've programmed you and tried to make you feel that way for all your life. Now we're being asked to release that. We are being asked to release that. Oh my gosh, it was such a huge part of this past 2 days was that activation. Coming back into surrendered manifestation. Coming back into the presence of full essence beingness on earth, right? To be embodied as the power that gets to be the point of attraction through the will and choices, right? And this is what you're being called to remember, that you have that power in the reality. And things get attracted to you as you see fit. So remember to hold your intense desires close and hold your manifestation secret, right? Don't keep pulling up the seed, trying to see if it's growing. It's growing for you. It's growing for you. Trust and believe it. Trust and believe, okay? All your thoughts have a germination process is what I'm hearing. And so you need to remember that when you're trying to put forethought into something or manifest something new in your life, that visualization and the germination process where it's solely in your mind and you haven't shared it with anyone, and it gets to germinate and grow within the fertile soil of your mind and your heart. And then once it starts to sprout and you know there's nothing that anyone can do to cut your tree down, you may tell others about your new manifestation. Now, that is a beautiful message. I love the fact that that came through for you. So remember that, okay? And this next season is going to be different. Remember how precious your energy is, okay? And for others of you, the pattern is ignoring the red flags because you want to believe in someone's potential, right? You see the good in people. And that's okay, right? You're seeing your light reflected in people is what you're seeing. And you see the wounded child in them, which is their shadow. And you see the possibility. But this next season is teaching you that seeing someone's potential does not mean you are responsible for waiting until they choose it, right? For others, the pattern is abandoning yourself to keep peace. You may have learned to read the room before you read your own heart. And you may have learned to soften your truth so others would not feel uncomfortable. You may have learned to carry emotional weight that was never yours, but now your soul is reclaiming its authority. Period. Period. Hands down, thumbs up. It's claiming its authority back. This is where the old agreement breaks. This is where the old agreement said, I have to earn love. I have to tolerate disrespect to keep connection. I have to shrink so others feel safe. The agreement said I have to accept crumbs because I should be grateful for anything I can get. Well, the new agreement says I'm allowed to be loved consistently and I demand it. And I'm allowed to be respected without begging because I deserve it. And I'm allowed to choose peace over attachment because I'm detaching from all chaos and negative energy in my life. And I am allowed to stop repeating what almost broke me because nothing is going to break me and I am unshakable. Now, in this new chapter of my life, right, that we call reality. So what is ending? Let's talk about it. What's ending here is not just a situation. Okay? What's ending here... Okay. What's ending here? Woo! All right, here we go. The hardships and all emotional distress, you feeling like things don't work out for you. Also, you being in the dark is ending. Okay? You feeling betrayed and feeling like you need to change is ending. And things not moving forward for you is ending. Oh, that's a beautiful. So let's talk about it. Let's write them out and talk about it. All right, so what we know is it is a self-concept from all of that, right? That's all the things that you felt like you were going through, right? You felt in the dark. You felt like you had to change. You felt unemotionally fulfilled. You felt maybe unenlightened at times. You felt like you were at odds with your identity and the way that things were working in your stable and secure world. Sometimes you felt insecure and you felt like things weren't moving fast enough in your life, right? All right, so that's what all those cards said. And ultimately, this version of you who thought your patience had to be limitless, it is the version of you who confused loyalty with self-abandonment, right? That's a self-concept. It's the version of you who kept trying to get closure from people who cannot even be honest with themselves, right? You don't need that. That's a headache, let me tell you. And this may feel emotional because sometimes healing does not immediately feel like freedom, right? Sometimes healing feels like this confusion or lack of illumination and a deep, rapid transformation, right? So at the end of the day, we can also see exactly how these cards showed up in reverse, what you have worked through, right? So all of this, the shadow of all of these cards, the Death card, the Ten of Cups, the Page of Pentacles, the Sun even, and the Eight of Wands, is you working through shadow aspects of yourself to gain the positive aspects of these cards. So now you have reached a new level of emotional maturity and control over your emotions in general. You've gone through a rapid transformation or major transformation in the recent past. You see things more clearly and you understand and are embodying a more practical, stable, secure, and I'm hearing growth-oriented mindset. You have reached a state of illumination that has brought you more joy and fulfillment than you've ever experienced in your life. And you're starting to gain the clarity that is making you comfortable with the speed that things are moving in your life, which is making them pick up momentum. All right. So now we read it in both ways. So that's now we got all the info, right? So let's dive a bit deeper and then I'm going to get you out of here. Okay, I'm not going to hold you hostage. So this is a version of you who confused loyalty with self-abandonment. It's the version of you who kept trying to get closure from people who could not even be honest with themselves, right? So ultimately, this may feel emotional because the healing didn't come immediately. And, you know, sometimes healing first feels like grief, right? So the transformation could have come through grief. You could have felt unilluminated because of grief or grievances in any way, right? So that means dissatisfaction in your relationships and not having all of the skills or capabilities that you desired, or not feeling like you have the right vision or you're moving correctly in life, or just being in an old karmic cycle that needed to be closed down. It could be any of those things. But at the end of the day, you feel emotional because healing does not immediately feel like freedom, right? Sometimes it feels like grief. And grief is one of the biggest energetic siphons in the world. So you may grieve the fantasy, you may grieve who you thought someone could be or become, you may grieve how much time you gave, you may grieve the version of yourself who did not know better yet, you may grieve all of the good times, and even somehow get programmed into grieving bad times, which I still can't wrap my mind around. You may grieve, you know, just how much time you gave in general. You may grieve the version of yourself who didn't know better, right? But please hear this clearly. You're not behind. You're not foolish, and you're not weak. You're learning through experience, which means you were learning through experience what your soul could no longer accept. And now you know. Right? So your soul put you through all kinds of conflicts and experiences that you were meant to realize were not yours to have, hold, experience, or put up with. You were learning this through the experience with your soul. Now you know a lot, right? You know so much that you've closed down a whole karmic cycle by your elevation. And you've elevated yourself into the magician, which means control over your physical world, and finally using all the skills and capabilities, knowledge, and wisdom that you have accumulated to bring in the harmonious choices and relationships that you truly desire in your life. I can't express those 3 cards any better than that to you. That knowing that creates this, that knowing is called liberation. So you liberated yourself. That's what this means. A newly liberated soul. Beautiful. Congratulations. So let's talk about what you're being asked to do now that we've gone through all this. So the guidance here is to stop negotiating with the pattern. Don't ask the pattern to become softer. Don't ask the pattern to explain itself one more time. Don't ask the pattern whether you're allowed to leave. The pattern has already shown you what it produces. Now your job is to choose differently. Choosing differently may look like not texting first. Choosing differently might be making sure that it is a soul-aligned, mutually beneficial relationship. Right? It may look like letting someone misunderstand you and not really caring to over-explain yourself. It may look like texting your energy back. Yeah, it may look like just taking your energy back. So I'm hearing taking your energy back from a situation that only grows when you feed it. Interesting. So that means it may look like resting instead of rescuing. It may look like saying, that does not work for me, without giving a full essay afterward. This is not about becoming cold. This is about becoming clear. okay? Because the version of you that is rising now, the version of you that is becoming now, does not need chaos to feel chemistry. Does not need inconsistency to feel chosen. And does not need emotional intensity to feel alive. Ultimately, does not need struggle to validate the importance of a connection. Your nervous system is learning peace. Your heart is learning discernment. Your spirit is learning that love without safety is not alignment. Spiritually, this feels like a cord being cut from an old identity that is allowing you to step into your power and call in all of the happiness and bliss into your life, right? It's calling in faster movement into your world. It's called in this beautiful transformation you've gone through. It's called in all the joy and illumination that you're experiencing now. It's calling in this practical new seed that you're planting in your life. And it's calling in all of the emotional fulfillment and happiness in the end. I love that. So this cord being cut is from an old identity, not from love, not from compassion, not from your ability to care, but from the unconscious agreement that pain is the price of connection. That agreement is being dissolved. You may start noticing that things you used to tolerate now feel heavy immediately. I'm hearing conversations that used to pull you in may now feel draining. People who once had strong access to your emotions may suddenly feel farther away. Situations that once triggered you may now make you pause and say, I have already learned this, and that is growth, right? And you are not obligated to put up with or stay in alignment with or be around anything that disrupts your vibrational quality. I'll say that as well. That is not you becoming detached from life. That is you becoming attached to your own peace. And for some of you, this is also ancestral. You may be ending a pattern that did not start with you. A pattern of silence, a pattern of survival, a pattern of overworking, a pattern of accepting less, a pattern of staying too long, a pattern of confusing sacrifice with love. And your healing is not small. When you choose differently, you're not only changing your own path, you are refusing to pass the same old wound forward. And that is so powerful. So ultimately, what we can say is the shift coming in comes in after the pattern ends. Right? The first thing that's going to be is space. There needs to be space there. And at first, space may feel uncomfortable because you're used to managing emotional noise. You're used to checking, waiting, wondering, fixing, proving, preparing, and recovering. But the space is not emptiness. That space is where your real life starts speaking again. And you may begin to feel your intuition more clearly. You may begin to attract people who respect your boundaries instead of testing them. And you may begin to make decisions from peace instead of panic. And you may begin to see opportunities that were hidden behind emotional exhaustion. And this is the part where your energy returns to you. And when your energy returns to you, woo, let's talk about how powerful that is. So let's pull up our cards that show us that your energy has returned to you. Well, first and foremost, it would be every major arcana card that popped up here in the order that they came. What order is that? Well, that's this order. This is what it looks like when your power... Oh, we're just throwing the old cycle away, aren't we? When... I heard, yep. When you take your power back. Okay, so... So that's it, right? Close down the cycle, embody your new power, close down the cycle, go through the transformation, or you can start with the transformation. For some of you, it went this way. For some of you, it went transformation, close cycle, new embodiment, fulfillment, and joy. For others of you, it was really weird because it went close cycle, transformation, new embodiment, new embodiment, fulfillment, and joy. And then there's one more set of you where it actually did this. Close, it went transformation, new embodiment, close the cycle, and then are now experiencing comfort and joy. All right, so it goes a little bit of a sequence. Anyway, the deeper message is you came back to yourself, and if you haven't, then come back to yourself. So the pattern ends because you stopped feeding it, right? Period. You stopped being in that disillusioned energy where you were waiting for reciprocity from relationships that consisted of toxicity. Let's call it that, all right? So the deeper message is come back to yourself if you haven't. Come back to your standards. Come back to your body. Come back to your peace. Come back to your intuition. Come back to the loving relationships. Come back to closing down the BS. Come back to your transformation. Come back to your new plans and your stable thoughts. Come back to holding the world in your hands because you do. Come back to the sun always shining brightly on you, right? Come back to the version of you who no longer needs to be chosen by what cannot recognize you is important to know too. So come back to your intuition and come back to your peace. Most importantly, come back to your calm, Lord. This pattern ends here because you're finally choosing yourself without apology. Period, point blank. And that choice changes everything. So if you're still here, then this entire message was for you. I congratulate you. I've gone through a similar instance and experiences in my life. Just the transformation, the new embodiment, the enlightenment, the new reciprocal relationships that are soul aligned and mutually beneficial, the new recognition, right? The new ideas and the new lease on happiness and fulfillment in life. I totally resonate with that. So if you're in the end of this reading, this entire reading is for you. I do not want you to waste a thought on wondering if it is. I already gave you a long list of the confirmations that I'm sure you relate to more than at least one of those things with. And so I'm going to leave you with these affirmations before my final closing. And you can repeat after me if you decide to, but I've already activated angelic Reiki, and so all you have to do is say I accept if you want, or just simply receive these words. I release the pattern that taught me to abandon myself. I no longer confuse chaos with connection. I no longer chase clarity from what keeps creating confusion. I am safe to choose peace. I am safe to grow. I am safe to outgrow old cycles. I am safe to stop repeating what hurt me. My love is sacred and my energy is protected. This pattern ends with me. This pattern ends here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful soul. Ashe, ashe. That is so beautiful. Okay, so this is your reminder that healing does not always announce itself loudly. I ask the Most High to send Reiki energy out to any in the collective who are still in this video at this time and need any kind of healing in their life. Reiki is pure universal life force energy, and it knows exactly where the healing needs to happen for you. And so you don't have to worry about it. All you have to do is accept, and it will go to work in your life. It is subtle energy work, and so give it time to work for you. And the more that you experience it, the more results you'll see. So just know that sometimes healing is simply the moment you don't go back. Okay? The moment you don't explain again. The moment you don't shrink again. The moment you choose peace and let the pattern collapse without your participation, well, just know this pattern ends here and the new version of you begins now. To each and every one of you who are in this video, I commend you, I celebrate you, I congratulate you. And I love you all unconditionally. I send you all my light, my love, and my blessings. And I will see you all in my next reading.